Welcome back to the HGC. We are potentially the last game as Method continues to dominate in this matchup against the Zealots. Sitting at a 2-0, and they might be looking to get this a nice little 3-0, man.
I am pretty sure that's exactly what they're aiming for. And they should. If they want to go all the way here this season or part 2, then that's exactly what they need to do.
So far, I've been shutting down Zealots at every single turn, especially in the team fights towards the middle of the match. And the first game on Cursed Hollow, we had a 10-minute win for the Methods. That's how quick that they have been playing these matches and shutting down their opponents. So going into game number 3, hopefully this break was enough for Zealots to kind of reset themselves and find a strategy they can pull off against their opponents. In fact, they may have the strategy. They pick the battleground. We're going to BOE.
BOE, 2-1 track record on Method side. Zealots have a 2-0. This is actually, it's actually really impressive how well they do on this map compared to any other.
This is the battleground where they started to show off that Diablo Blade synergy. They went Li Ming last time on this battleground, poking as much as they could against Team Liquid.
Now, just to put that in perspective, this is a map, they have 5 map wins, 14 map losses now, and 2 of those wins on Battlefield. So, let's go.
BOE, it's the place. If they're going to find a spot, this is the situation that they can get the win against Method. Method, in their hand, pretty strong in this background too. I think you said it was a 2-1 for them so far. So if they can find a way in the draft to keep away the big power pickups for the Zealots, they should be able to shut them down pretty well. Hanzo, always something that we had to consider as we head into it. And with the map being chosen by the Zealots, there was a good chance that Hanzo can and will go over to Method.
Yeah, I'm pretty scared right now for Zealots. That has not been a good series by any means for them, and this is going to be the moment when Method says, okay, let's get the clean 3-0 here. Make sure that you boost the map score a little bit, and that helps you then later against Team Liquid. It helps you against Fnatic if Fnatic actually finds a way to transfer the performance that they apparently have in scrims over into HGC play, and if not, also go helpful against leftovers.
Yeah, those map scores important, and Team Liquid definitely within reach. You already mentioned them, but they are at a +5 right now, if I remember correctly. So if Method can start to work their way on up, they'll be good to go. Looking over to Dignitas, they're not really reachable. They're at a +14, but everyone else is within that +5 to -2 range.
Yeah, Liquid is currently at a +4, and Method at this point is at a +7. So they're pretty solid here. If they get another one, it would be a +8 for them. The only other team that outshines, of course, everyone else is Dignitas, who had a +14.
Yeah. All right, so we're waiting on this draft to see what's going to be happening here for our teams. Team's currently getting ready, and they are in the lobby. Certain heroes that can also stand out in this battleground. We keep talking about Urel, but you can't forget about the Dahaka factor. He's kind of made his way back into this matchup. The idea is that you're trying to soak experience during the Immortal phase, waiting for that last second where you have to go in and force a fight, which if you can get a wave or 2, that gets you closer to that level 10, which usually means that going into the second Immortal phase, you'll have an advantage with Heroics. So Dahaka has also popped up a little bit too for our teams.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I really want to see from Zealots here now. There's different approaches. I don't think that the Haka running a global is something that I would enjoy from them. I really like if they would go into, or maybe that Diablo Blaze setup again might not be any map. Try and get a Phoenix with it too. Just like try and find these synergies in your pick so that you can execute some combos, because so far we haven't seen that. The question that I more have, which is interesting to me, is what they are going to focus when it comes to bans. Because when you go up against ADRD, it's always difficult to outdraft him. We have seen now again Medivh play from him. We have seen Abathar too. So there's a lot of avenues, and the problem that I have is that from Zealot's perspective, I think they have to think about a Tassadar ban again. Because we have another setup where with Tassadar and, let's say, Tracer composition, Nick would just run circles around Zealots. That's what I'm a bit afraid of, because there's now so many different ways of how Method can approach this map. And Method has always been strong here too. This is a battleground that ADR really enjoys because it spices things up and it allows him to approach the game from different ways. You can go fully on the Immortal clear, you can go full team fight here.
You can buy time, play defense, soak on the map. It really comes down to what your opponent's doing. You're able to react really well on this map, which is always fun to do. Genji banned out for Method.
Genji, by the way, is still the only hero that has a 100% involvement rate in Heroes of the Storm HGC Europe. Either banned or picked in every single game since we started. He's the only one, no one else.
Tracer was up there for a little bit, but fell off in the last couple weeks.
Tracer actually, even in the first weekend, she also saw a few games where she wasn't picked or banned either. So she fell off pretty quickly. Malfurion, I think, held his own for at least a few matches, and then very, very quickly. I think last phase, we were starting into phase 1 in 2018, we had for, I want to say 3 weeks, 4 heroes at 100% involvement rate. Here in phase 2 fell off immediately, everyone except for Genji.
The meta is wide and
there's the
adaptable.
Tacit ban, by the way.
Small play.
It's exactly that what I wanted to see from them. I wanted to see it from them, but at the same time I was also a bit concerned about it because it forces them into a certain direction, right? So it's like you feel you have to ban him out just because of how much Tacit brings to Method and on this map, but also you allow then Tracer to be open here. So it's a bit of a loss-loss situation you find yourself in.
Now the question is, will the Mad Scientist go for Hanzo here? You always have to worry about that for your first pick.
I mean,
or do you decide you want to go a different direction? They actually go for Greymane instead and leave it open. And Chris will be happy about that. He loves Hanzo on this battleground.
Yeah, basically at this point Method is saying, okay, we've seen the wolf is in trouble. We are animal friendly. We're going to boost that win rate. We're going to get these wins in. And this is a rotation that I do not expect whatsoever. Zealots with a very, very different approach from what we thought here. And that pushes Hanzo over to Method as a potential pick in the 2-3 rotation, something we very rarely see. Not targeted as the first pick, and not taken by the opponent on the 1-2.
Oh, you pick Abathur in your realm. That means you can force the fights that you want to, especially around defending the Immortal, especially if they can get their hands on a Murden later on. Method should be definitely considering that. But yeah, it's all about the race for them. If they're able to race this down, and with them having a Greymane already, you can think about picking up Hanzo, moving into Karazim, getting these heroes to help clear out that Immortal quickly, not to allow Abathur to have that time to soak up, but also allow that Carapace build to really get into full effect.
They could also really heavily target Quacknix now. You have Genji banned, you have Greymane taken. If you pick or ban Li Ming,
true.
I mean, you have Falstad and Junkrat still around, but those are tough heroes there. So I think there are really good ways. Hanzo is taken, okay, yep. If you ban Li Ming here, what do you pick if you are Quack? Do you go Falstad? Do you go Junkrat?
He's played Cassia on this map in the past.
It's a good point.
So that is something that he has in his back pocket and available.
But he hasn't played that in
It's been a while. It's been
right?
a gangster minute, that's for sure.
A gangster minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a prolonged minute.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like over there yonder. It's just one of those words that means forever, however you want to
It's like
approach
a French minute. That's between like 1 and 8 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. It's perfect. There you go, see? Zealots thinking about their ban here. Are you considering Tyrael as a ban here?
You know how long a German minute is?
How long is a German minute? Oh,
a minute.
Exactly, 60 seconds. That was good. That's good. That's good. That is the first funny German joke I've heard in a long time. I hate you.
Trying to say my jokes are not funny.
It was good.
Screw you.
So smart. I don't know why I said Tyrael. Well, I know why I said it. We've been seeing a lot of Tyrael from Method on this battleground. With the new Requiem in the slot, though, obviously Badmin's been playing that. Tyrael can be ran as a top laner if you really want to, but it's kind of having a hard time against the constant poke coming from a lot of the Stain heroes, and the wave clear for Tyrael lacks pretty hard compared to Real, so don't know if we'll see that there. Karazim getting banned out from Method, though. Want to make sure they mitigate any attempts at dive, and also race for the Zealots.
Abathur Urel in the early slots. What are we going to see in a 2-4?
Murden, right? You have to get Murden Urel. You want to be able to force fights and get on Hanzo's face and destroy that goatee. Smack it off.
You have a real problem with Hanzo's face, by the way. Every single time you want someone to sit on Hanzo's face,
like every time
you think he's ugly.
No,
why do you judge?
He's handsome. He looks great. My issue is that every time that you're on BOE and Hero League, nobody understands the concept that you need to stop Hanzo from clearing the Immortal. You need to jump in. So every time I have the opportunity to cast, I want to let people know that Hanzo needs to die on this battleground or you're going to lose the game. So I'm just getting that out there. I'm trying to teach people, and hopefully they understand now.
Haters gonna hate.
If you want to call me a hater, because I enjoy winning sometimes, call me a hater. Please, invitation right here.
I love the go for There's
a Tyrael.
That's why I said ban Li Ming out. That's the reason. Of course he goes for Li Ming. I would have taken Li Ming away from him. I would not have given him Li Ming. But again, Karazim is also strong. And you have Karazim Abathur. I mean,
yeah,
I get why they banned Karazim. But I would have, with a Greymane as a first pick, Genji banned out, I would have targeted the sit point pool. I was like, show your Falstad, bring whatever you want, you're going down.
It's going to be a soul support Abathur. Do you have enough damage for Li Ming and Tyrael on the front to kill people?
I mean, you have Tyrael shields.
Yeah, and I mean, you have like the all-in concept of, okay, here's Li Ming jumping in. You can have double Li Ming as well with Abathur. But I feel like I want a little more zest in this composition. I want to have some more threatening things. Okay, hey, if Zealots actually do come at me, I might die. So suddenly Method has to play careful. Because right now I feel like they can play around it.
I think they already can no matter what. With the new Cocoon. And you have Blaze now too. Yeah.
Alright, Zealots. What is the zest? As we zoom in on the Z.
Oh, we're missing. They could, you know,
I mean, they're missing support if they want to run support, but you can run Abathur as solo here. And I would want something that brings a little bit more dive. Greymane would be the first up, but it's taken away.
No, I was more so thinking along the lines, okay, let's assume they have an Abathur solo support, which I think is a fair choice. But like, what's going to be the damage dealer? Where do we see Chris? Is he going to be Ling? Because the entire time it was Chris, it was Quatnix who was on Li Ming. So what would Chris then play? We have still Phoenix around, if you want to play around something like that. Have shield mechanic.
I want some quick upfront damage.
Quick upfront damage?
Yeah.
You want a Jaina. I'm not sure if that would work. I'm pretty sure that would definitely not work.
What is this? Valera? Lame.
Eh.
Okay, well.
Alright. But I have to admit, I like a support more than having a complete supportless composition with this, with the poke level, the poke game that you have. But who's on Abathur?
Chris.
Chris on Abathur? If you have Li Ming in the game, it feels weird, right?
Does feel weird.
I mean, yeah, but feels weird.
Well,
doesn't it make more sense from also like a shot call perspective to just put Quatnix on Abathur? They have the overlap in the hero pool, so it's not like you can't do that.
I don't know. I feel like this is their best chance at the win. All right, well, let's go into BOE. I'm curious to see how this pans out. There's a concept here. Find some resets. Have Tyrael try to dive with Yrel. Maybe dissuade Hanzo from putting any damage on top of the Immortal. But if Method plays it patiently and waits for the engages to come here, I feel like they have a solid draft for this Battleground.
Good race on the Immortal now, too. All right, let's jump in. Could be the last map, or Zealots are going to put their name onto the scoreboard. We're going to find out right now on Battlefield of Eternity as we see to the left side of the map the Zealots with Quatnix on Li Ming, Chris on Abathur, and Robadoba on Tyrael this time. New tank for him. Zarmini, of course, on Yrel, and Shat on Rhaegar.
On the right side of the red, Athero on Blaze, Nick on Greymane, Bad Binny on Anubarak, ADRD on Hanzo, and Curtin on Deckard Cain.
2-0 very convincingly for Method. Snowballing the games, closing out both of those maps very early. 22 minutes game time so far in that series. Method looking dominant. They're going to try and continue that. How is Robadoba going to do on that Tyrael?
Well, they'll have the options to get aggressive. They run that old Druid. Will he be able to touch a DRD on the background? Nick even too if he oversteps. Can they punish him? Quack will start sieging away. Typically when you are waiting for Li Ming to really hit her power spike at around level 7, that Calamity allows you to have that maximum punish. Already Robadoba doing well here. Spent some damage on Nick, but with potions all around, he just takes a sip and he's healed on up.
Ariadi just continuing. I mean, as a former rocket scientist, he has absolutely no problem to really go for the perfect trajectories here with his scatter arrows.
Sitting a total of 7 sacks. Actually pretty good. All right. Dropping the math, hitting the geometry. Robadoba getting poked down. Tyrael already a little bit low on mana here, going down about half after a couple of smites. That's one of the issues too, is yeah, he can get a little bit aggressive, but when the aggression comes in, you got to make sure that you are being effective with it, or over time you'll get sustained out. Yrel comes in for a gank on the bottom lane, goes for a knockback. Bad Vinny doing just fine though with potions here. Can he escape? He gets out. Nick turns around and says, Zarmi, why are you in my lane?
Yeah, Zarmini also gets out here. You know Pinky and Brain, right?
Yeah.
ADRD is Brain. Absolutely. You're Pinky, ADRD is Brain.
So what will we do against the Zealots today?
The same that we always do.
trio them.
Yeah, Ethereal at the top lane now again against... this is one of the reasons why Zomni was able to rotate down in the first place, that we have Abathur in the game, so Chris was able to still soak up the experience. They didn't lose out on anything. They allowed the rotation to happen, and then with the Symbiote you can still help down out at the bottom of the map. So now with Abathur at top lane, it is a bit easier for Chris to put those toxic nests into situations where a Blaze is threatened, and it also gives you more access to that camp that Urel is already...
He just teleported. Oh no, he just went in for the blink there, and so the instant punish comes out from Bad Benny. Method follows it up, and there is the kill.
And nearly a second kill. Tyrael was also low, so that could have been a double kill for them. And they get the tower now. This is just them really absolutely showing, I want to say, like, zero respect. They're just going in and saying, what are you going to do about it?
And it shows
We're going to take both towers now. We know exactly where our strength is.
And it shows an understanding of the opponents and their abilities, right? The moment a blink is used and not get anything out of it, Method just turns around and says, okay, we kill you now. Like, you literally have nothing in this composition.
And now they lost the towers at the bottom of the map. They are behind the experience. Aggressive invade. If that works out, it's great. If this backfires, Zealots are going to be in a world of pain.
Tap comes in. Ethereal's already here too. We have that strong front line. They have to give it up.
All right, so they move out because everyone of Method is there. So they're trying to invade, hoping that there's only 1 or 2 heroes, and everyone starts to move in, and so they have to retreat. But that could have definitely backfired very quickly, and it still can. The Zealots need to have an impact here. They have an Abathur composition. If they lose the Immortal now and it pushes heavily with how aggressive Method is already, Method will take a very, very big lead. And Method, of course, has fantastic play on the Immortal. I mean, you have Hanzo and Greymane.
Good lead already, though, for Zealots on the Immortal.
Yeah.
They get it down. They're actually looking for fights often. But Bad Benny finds Shad, and he is body blocked into a corner. The scroll falls up afterwards. Bad Benny's low on health, but the shields come in at the last second. With Ethereal having the Pyromania, should be able to escape. Nick is the target, though, and Zarmny goes deep. He finds a kill.
Yeah, he finds one, and Robadoba wants another, and Chris is helping him out with Abathur, but they do not get the kill against ADRD. Still, that was actually really strong, because now Zealots have not only closed the gap in experience to at least some extent, but also they put Quacknix again onto Immortal duty, and that means halftime show for the Zealots. They have a 2-0 track record on Battlefield of Eternity. It is their best map so far in Phase 2, and it shows here. First map where we see a bit of a spark of life from the Zealots.
And good on them, too. Getting a halftime show, forcing the fights, fighting a couple of picks. They still have to get through this Immortal phase, but they have a nice little lead here. And Nick working on the Immortal on the right side. Zarmy's going to go over and try and buy a little bit of time there, and also with an Abathur hat, put some damage on Nick. He's going to need some help from his teammates, so Method backs up, which should open up some room for Quack to siege away.
Yeah, and he's going to try and do exactly that as we speak. But also, Nick here needs to be a bit careful. ADRD comes in too, both of them very determined to race down the Immortal as fast as they can. So that advantage that we saw for the Zealots is nearly negated. ADRD actually slowed in this. If he gets slowed into the stun circle, he would probably fall here. Talking about falling, ADRD is still low, and Shat wants to go around. Nice interrupt by Benny, but he is just in a pickle there. No chance for ADRD to get away in this one.
The plan for Zealots here is to let Zarmny on Urel just constantly poke until he finds an opening, and then the rest of the team comes in and follows up. At that moment, Urel with an Abathur hat was in a 1v2 and potentially a 1v3 if Bad Benny were to engage, and they just waited time and time again until finally Zarmny hit a couple more jumps and slowed down ADRD. He had to run away, and they picked him off.
Yeah, they're going in for this one, and again, here comes the engage, but Urel is low, down she goes, the kill for Method. Kill number 3 for them, and now the Immortal. It's open season for it. Who's going to win this year? It could be Method very well, but it is not the Zealots with the first objective, taking it.
Peeled Rhaegar off, and Rhaegar became their DPS on the Immortal, and he was able to help clean it up with the rest of his team afterwards. So first Immortal, surprisingly going to the Zealots. Well done by them. This means they'll have a little bit of a push here on the bottom, and Abathur continues to soak. There you have a nice experience lead too, and should be able to get a bit more. I
actually really like the level 7 pickup for Urel too. Now, we talk oftentimes about the Divine Steed and how much it gives you. And the second talent that we see picked is the Holy Avenger. So that's the number 2 talent currently for Urel in the talent tier. But especially here on the map, you get so much cooldown reduction through that, and we just see Zarmny hopping around all the time.
That'll become handy if they employ the same strategy on the next Immortal phase. Zarmny about down to half health, so they're going to have to back up as well as Quack. Method clears it up pretty quickly, the Immortal that is. And they also still save a turret in their gate.
So one of the things that is a little bit problematic for Zealots, I think, is that their game plan is basically kill either Greymane or Hanzo. put the pressure onto them, jump on the 2 squishies, and especially put Urel into a position where she, with Abathar, can jump onto them over and over and over again. It creates space for Li Ming to fire combos. Once level 10 is here, this is going to become a lot harder, because then you have a bunker and also you have the counter-engage potential through a cocoon. And that's the one thing that worries me a bit for the upcoming mid-game.
When you're thinking about clones here, do you go double Li Ming here, or do you go double Urel? What do you think?
Double Urel.
Yeah.
I mean, Li Ming is great, but you're so cooldown dependent, and with Urel, you're just super annoying.
Curson gets jumped on, scroll pumps out, Zarmany doing just fine while Robodoba tries to follow it up. Curson able to sneak on out though, while ADRD keeps working in those arrows with that scatter arrow quest done. Working in a few more arrows and also at level 7. Able to back up and prevent Zealots from getting the engage they want.
But they're just continuing their trend. Use Zarmany, put on the hat, and just keep jumping in. Jump into the backline, push the 2 squishies, force Greymane, force ADRD on Hanzo to just back off or try to put them in a spot where they could fall. And it's been working out in that last Immortal, but now that we are having level 10 coming up, I'm really questioning if they can still make these plays.
Even with level 7 here, second Immortal is where Hanzo really starts to pop in. Him having the extra scatter arrows and the auto tech should also let him deal with Urel a little bit better if he has the protection needed.
I'm actually even wondering if you could go Judgment here. I mean, traditionally you look at it and say Sanctification. You jump in with everything, you sank up on the ground, and then you go for it. But if really the whole idea is to go full on a kill, could even make that argument. But I don't really think that in any comp that Quacknix runs, they would make such a risky play. So it's Sanctification for them. Disintegrate against the Cocoon here. Cocoon has been chosen too. And this is really the moment where I want to see if the Zealots still can find this pressure play against the backline.
Speaking of pressure play, the camp in the top is Ming able to push in and put some damage to the fort. Li Ming heads over to clear that up, which means that Method will step up and poke a little bit on the top of the Immortal. ADRD working those scatter arrows. Greymane's in here too to help out.
Yeah, Benny is also falling a bit low, but Curson has the potions ready for him. Scroll of Sealing again, re-engage. Stun Circle on the other hand, doing work. Bunker even getting dropped to make sure that they dodge some of that. That's a bunker cooldown burned here that now could be used to Zealots' advantage if they jump into the backline again. But the Zealots are now on the back foot on the objective. The halftime show has been reached as Method pushed in.
That's the first time that I've seen a bunker flamethrower kill off Immortal in the halftime show. Good teamwork there from Method as they burn the Immortal with a fire barrage. Method plays defensive. They have Blaze in the bottom already, pushing out that wave. The moment Soda and Zealots see that, they step up and they try to poke a little bit. Quack trying to find those angles. This Beetle is actually being a nuisance for him. He can't really set up those orbs.
Yeah, that's of course always that dynamic between Nuburak and Li Ming, that you have Beetles to soak a lot of the shots, but the Disintegrate burns down the Cocoon. So both of the heroes are oftentimes, when they are going back against each other, in a bit of an awkward spot here, depending on the plays. Zealots now trying to retreat here. But I mean, if time works in their favor in the sense that Abathar can still body soak quite nicely here. That Benny being attacked again, and of course that hat on Chris. Chris with the hat is always there, this time on Robodoba. Cocoon being used just as the copy comes out. A double Li Ming attempt, but already Cocoon burned down, and now Zealots is looking for a kill, or at least for the damage.
Chris, duration's gone down to half health, and it comes in and put a little bit of damage on him. Zarmany continues to protect the Immortal, but ADRD taking that time created by his teammates, put a few more scatter arrows on that Immortal, and they have a pretty large lead. Yeah. They'll get into a point where they may have to make a play where they go in. Zarmany jumps in right now. Tyrael's here to follow it up. Yeah,
Ancestral saves Zarmany there, but the Zealots are very, very low on the Immortal. And of course, we still have Nick looking for an opportunity to jump on it. And with AD already firing away, that opportunity will open up at some point. Still no massive engage from Zealots. They haven't popped Sanctification yet. They didn't find that fight yet.
Same time, Method has their own heroics. Dragon's Arrow, stay a while in this in. Zarmany goes in, Jet Propulsion out into the damage. Ardent Defender popped up. No major heals coming out though, as Method will allow him to sneak away.
Yeah. Nice move there by Zarmany, escaping on Urel again, because that was a very cool engage that we saw. Actually, if they use the arrow there, even with that reduced stun duration, I think they can confirm that kill. If Ardent Defender doesn't get popped, he goes down. That might have been enough time. Tough to tell though. Stay a while and listen. Bunker goes down again, and here's the Sanctification play this time. 5 people in the bunker trying to retreat. Benny low, good push. They go for Nuburak, they don't get him. Counter engage, and the Jet Propulsion is strong.
It's strong, and it may get some kills here. Nick actually gets cleaned up as Quacknix turns around and helps with the Urel to get the kill. ADRD starting to run a little bit low on mana, has to start backing up, but Zarmany trying to get that cooldown reduction, trying to find a couple of kills. Zealots actually do keep Method back. But They have to get on the Immortal because there's only 3,000 health left on theirs.
It's still a great kill for them, but of course Hanzo is still in play, so just a few scatter arrows, and this is an objective secured for Method. But at least it allows the shields to get shredded here by Zealots. Method likely to win it, but it could have been way worse for Zealots. It was a great kill for them, and if the Immortal would have been taken earlier without the kill against Greymane, it would have been at roughly, I don't know, 80% HP and shields, and that would just have been a bit too much here. But Method, of course, now with an opportunity, can push through the bot lane. Ford at the top and at the bottom have already suffered. So Method with most likely a secured kill against that and an earlier level 13 talent if they play their cards right.
Zealots trying to catch Hanzo or Nubek rotating down. Don't see them, and they finally get on top of the defense. Method's here, though, as you mentioned, going to fight a fight. Quack is just in trouble. Ancestral Healing comes out. Arrow's gonna miss.
Really nice dodge by Quacknix here. That could have definitely hurt, but here comes the bunker. Cocoon is in. The fort is gone. Bunker burned down by Quacknix within seconds. Was waiting for it to disintegrate. Just takes it away.
Sanification up in about 8 seconds. Zealots may use that opportunity to actually go in for a fight, especially with that Ultimate Evolution being used here. Chris' duration is about to expire, though. There's the Sanification, but there goes the Ultimate Evolution. Knock up on Zarmany. Able to step forward thanks to the Sanification. They're trying to chase back, but stay a while and listen. Used as Method make sure that they can't force a fight.
Brutally Immortal. Goes to the entire wall. Is about to take down the fountain, even putting some pressure on the keep. Urel goes down as well. Method, all of a sudden, what looked like a decent defense from Zealots at the keep, are about to take it. 13 minutes in, and they force the keep.
Take the keep. Think about looking at the core, decide not to. They want to go ahead and rotate the top here and maybe work on grabbing that fort. But first, they'll make a nice little pit stop and take this bruiser camp. Have that pushing in the bottom lane. And now they can make their play for that fort on the top. They already start rotating towards there. Zealots are aware of that as well, as they have Rhaegar and Tyrael here for defense.
It's just such a heavy engaged potential from Method when they dive in deep and try and secure another kill here. So Shed has to be super careful with this. And he's keeping himself in the back, but Roba is the next target. The cleanse is good though, but yeah, the fort is going to be forced.
And there it goes. Fort cleaned up, but that Biddy in a bit of trouble. He has to use Cocoon here, trying to buy some time, getting a couple of heals, gets his shield here too. Finally, with the Burrow Charge coming up, he's able to escape. Bunker being used to make sure that Urel gets burned down. He's able to jump out at the last second. Chris will pick up Urel as well. Goes straight for Nick. Nick gets locked in by the Holy Ground.
Yeah, and is about to fall.
No
oh
way.
My god, the stun keeps him alive. That was just as Robert was looking to secure the kill here. He doesn't get it. Nick walks out. Great move. Bot lane heavily pressuring the core, by the way. There's an entire camp pushing it at this point, and the catapult is already locked on. So that's a few hit points that are likely to fall here. Depends on... okay, knocks it back. He's able to just secure it. 99%. It's rough. Every single time it's about to yield a kill for Zealots, it feels like Method finds a way to save the target. And the same is actually true on both sides, as Urel has nearly fallen to the top left. But then with the copy of Chris, they were able to push Greymane away, and that put Greymane into that spot in the first place. So a lot of back and forth here, and it's reflected in the kill count. 3 kills for Zealots, 4 kills on Method's side, but that level lead that we see for Method and the advantage of catapults pushing the bot lane are, of course, something that has to be considered as we're going into another Immortal.
Robodoba's going to be looking for a Holy Ground. Maybe try to section someone off on the defense of the Immortal, but Method are defending theirs now. They're trying to play it slow. They want to get 16. They have that Night Camp pushing the top to really get that keep under siege. So Zealots are dancing and trying to find an opportunity, but nothing popping up. Bad Benny doing his best here to control that front line, making sure Quack can't get any poke in either.
Double camp at the top. It's horrible for our Zealots. That camp is going to do so much, and Blaze is even moving up, or thinking about moving up and bursting down one of the waves. But yeah, he's just securing that spot. He's actually anchoring the rotation a bit. Zealots will have to react here, or Snap making a play, and they're trying to do that. The copy on Avatar is there. They're going deep. They can go for the Sanctification. Don't use it yet. Here it is on the bunker, trying to go for Blaze and an Uberak. Stay in while and listen is in, but the keeps at the top are still pushing. Robadoba is also low. The Ancestral comes out. It saves Zarmany. Robadoba escapes. Zarmany, on the other hand, he dies, and this is probably lights out for Zealots. This is not looking pretty.
Zealots get into a spot where the desperation was the play that they had to make, and Method identified that, kited backwards, make sure not to deal with the double clone coming in there, as there were 2 Urels. And once they sidestepped that initial damage, they cleared up the clone and then won the team fight. They take out 2, only 3 up here for the Zealots, and while the Immortal gets shredded down by ADRD and crew, there's still that pressure at the top left corner, moving towards the keep, and Ethereal, he's going to help it out.
Yeah, Ethereal is going to move in with that. In the meantime, ADRD and Greymane are taking down, or ADRD at least takes down the Immortal, so they are already trying to prep this so they can go straight in for the core here. The more damage they get on the keep, the better. If they can take it down, that would be fantastic, but they don't even have to. They have a 1.5 level lead, they have a talent advantage, and they have already taken nearly all of the structures in the top lane away that the Immortal will use.
Zealots coming over here for one more fight. Maybe they can get the fight before the Immortal's cleaned up. Shad goes in, they go straight for ADRD, but ADRD just hops over a wall. Curson tells the story, puts Zarmany to sleep. ADRD's trying to retreat, but Quack actually finds a kill, so there we go. There's a reset. Can they get more?
The Immortal should fall now. Yeah, Immortal, okay, Immortal is gone. So they secure the Immortal, but the kill is super important. Maybe they have a chance to defend this. It's going to be tough though, even with the level 16 talent. You have lost the bot lane, top lane keep is definitely going to fall. You can't save that, but can you save your core? If you fight more kills, they might.
He's trying to put that pressure, trying to force Method back, letting the being siege away, jumping. Finally, Art Defender comes out and sets for healing. They turn around and try to get this 4v5. Robodoba getting hit, pops the Sanification. Method just steps away. Bad Benny. Low. Cocoon.
Yeah, but that's the end of Tyrael. Shad is also going to die here, and Nick is going to make sure of that. And that's a double kill. Could be the triple, as Squadnix and Zarmany are both in trouble. Good combo still coming out of Quack, but still, Zarmany has fallen. Only 2 alive, Ling Ming and Abatha. And that Immortal has already taken out the keep. Chris as lead dodging the arrow here, but this is going to be it. That Immortal is just way too strong. You can't deal with that, even if the 5 heroes would be on the map, which is not the case. Shield's already gone. Method are moving in to confirm that 3-0.
And they get it. 30, 20, 10, bunker. Bring in the fire here, and with no fire hydrant nearby, Zealots are unable to stop that, and they are going to take a loss from Method as Method goes up 3-0 and takes the entire series.
Well played, GG. Method with the dominant performance that we expected. That's what they need to do here against the 8th place of the HGC if they really want to aim for Dignitas in the long run. It's a great play by them, making it quick and painless in game 1 and 2, taking a bit more time on game number 3 to secure the victory, but a 3-0 nonetheless.
I will say that composition did a little bit better than I was expecting, especially in the early stage. The idea of just, okay, let's let Urel and her ability to sit in fights and live forever and put out a little bit of decent damage, let her find openings for us, right? And that happened a couple of times, but it got to a point where Method just kind of identified that, prevented it from occurring, and in fact started focusing her down in the fights to the point where she actually fell a couple of times. But interesting concept, just not working out on this day.
Yeah. For Zealots, unfortunately, that's another loss. So they're 0-5 now. Not really looking good for them, but Method definitely looking better and better every week. Extremely clean play. And for me, that's all going to culminate in the match against Team Liquid on the last play. That's really the... right now, this is the most exciting match to look forward to, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's going to be a good one. Team Liquid versus Method, the final week here at the HGC as we prepare for the Western Clash. Method continues to level up, and they really are starting to vie/look for that spot against Dignitas. I can see them going to the next phase, just being in a spot where Dignitas and Method, that will be a really awesome matchup that prepares for the weekend. Yeah,
definitely. Again, it comes down to Fnatic too. Bit unlucky in the 5th game twice, then of course really not showing up against leftovers, but as we heard also from Zelia earlier, looking apparently very good in the scrims. You have to transfer that over in HGC, then they could be another one of these forces. Team Liquid of course always performing well here too. The top 4, top 5 now very heavily contested, as at the bottom of the standings we are seeing now a bit of a battle happening with the Monkey Menagerie, Zealots, and also Granite Gaming.
Really interested to see what's going on with Fnatic. Well, is it just in their heads right now? What is it? Is it game 5? Is it really just an unlucky matter? Because they have done game 5s pretty often for a lot of the teams. What is that turning switch for them?
I think some of it is just they had a bit of bad luck for sure. But it's also, I feel, a mindset issue after some time. So I don't know what exactly it is. Scrims are again apparently going well, but outside of that, we'll see if they can find a way to turn things around.
Well, teams that are having good luck right now as they continue to show off their skill, it's Team Method, and we actually have Athero here to talk about his victory today. A 3-0 win over the Zealots. Athero, how are you feeling, friend?
Pretty good. I think we played pretty clean this whole weekend, so we're pretty happy about it.
You guys continue to actually look more and more dominant the more that we see you play. You moving into the position where you guys want to compete to be the best in Europe. How do you feel you are currently performing when you actually look at your ranking?
I think we're about as expected. I think the team we have to beat really is Liquid. I think Dignitas was like we showed some strength there, but we didn't really expect to contest them till like the next half.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on track right now. Maybe a little bit better than what we thought we would be, but yeah, we're doing good.
Awesome. Over to Caldor.
Congratulations. One question that I have is, how do you prepare for a match like this against Zealots, where you, of course, you want to come in, you want to take the 3-0, you want to make sure that you boost your map score, but there's also, they haven't really looked good, but you don't really know where they're at. They show up against Team Liquid. How do you prepare for that?
So it's mostly just practicing what we're doing, really. Like, obviously a lot of URL, a lot of like solo queue, a lot of just team practice. It's just more focus on us rather than the enemy when you're playing against lower teams. But you obviously have to do some research on what they play, what they prefer. And we tried to deny the like Diablo, Blaze sort of thing that they look strong on. So yeah, game plan sort of went as we thought.
What's your thoughts on Ural now? So, of course, we came into the weekend. We have now the buffs coming through. She's looking really strong. But you, as a solo laner, how do you perceive her right now? How high is the priority for her when you guys are drafting? And how much of an impact do you feel you have on her if you can play her?
I think it's... I have a lot of impact personally on her. I think because I'm really comfortable with her. But it's more a fact of like the melee role itself isn't that strong right now. So when you have a hero which like Urel is decent, you have to just snap it. Like you have to pick it because otherwise you're going to be left with a hero like Blaze where you're just sitting in a bunker for like 30 seconds instead of actually having impact in the game.
You're saying like this is a bad thing.
It is a bad thing. I want to be jumping everywhere. I want to be dealing damage, but I'm sitting in a bunker just doing the flamethrower.
Yeah, that seemed to have worked out a couple of times though, but I get where you're coming from. Let's talk about another hero that we actually have seen quite a lot, and we've seen, I mean, some teams really love him, some teams complain about him a lot, Abathur. Talk to me a bit about the impact of Abathur on any composition, especially on bigger maps, and also, of course, how he impacts you as a solo laner.
So when I'm playing against Abathur, I hate my life. I don't want to play. I just want to leave the game because what happens is I'll out-trade the guy, and then it's just like, oh, he's got 3 hats, and now he's full HP. When I'm playing with him, like you saw on, I think it was Dragon, I was like taking waves behind the fort. I was like running around the map doing whatever I want because I'm unkillable anyway, so I have an Abathur hat. So it's really fun to play with and not fun at all to play against. Pretty much, that's the hero.
Do you think there is a problem with the hero right now from your perspective? And if so, what would you target?
The problem with the hero, in my opinion, is it feels awful to play against. Like, it feels like if you do that one mistake macro-wise, you're like, oh, I'm 3 levels behind. I don't really know how to fix that due to the nature of the game. Maybe it's like buffing globals, but then you have that global play which no one likes playing against. So it's a really tough thing to fix, especially in competitive. What I would do maybe is like nerfing the healing so you can you pick him more of a niche than what he is right now. Because right now you just pick him and you're like, oh, I have a support or I have a ranged flex.
Now, we're soon going to move into 3 bans. Do you feel that that is going to cancel the problem out, or do you still think, like, what do you think is going to be the impact of the triple bans that we're going to see?
Whoa, it's not fixing it if you're just banning it, really, is it?
Yes,
Like,
it's
still there. It's just in the background.
It's a
like,
Band-Aid.
he'll come back at some point. Yeah, like, for example, what will happen is there'll be Genji Tracer, and then there'll be this third new hero, which will be like, Deathwing, there we go. He'll come out, or she'll come out, and then that'll be permabanned, and then Abathur will come back, and everyone will be like, wow, I really hated playing against this one. We have to ban everything now. And then no one enjoys it.
But are you looking forward to a 3rd ban in the game?
For me?
Yeah.
No. Me personally, no. Because Urel's never seeing play again. Genji's never seen play again. Good thing.
It's all about Urel for you.
Abathur's probably not seeing play. Yeah, it's more like they need to fix the melee role so I can play some Illidan, play some Zeratul, play these heroes. So maybe if you ban out all of the melees, maybe I have a chance on playing niche or bad hero rather than sitting in the bunker or sitting in a side lane as the hacker and then, oh, I can TP in. That's fun.
All right, makes actually a lot of sense from a solo laner's perspective. That's a pretty good explanation. So thank you very much for that. And again, congratulations. You guys look really clean today. Always a pleasure watching your games.
Now, you'll be facing off against Leftovers next, and I know we're talking about the Team Liquid matchup, and it's a big one for you guys, but Leftovers feels like a team that you cannot let slide here, as they got a big victory the other day.
Yeah, I think with Leftovers, it's kind of, once again, just playing what we're good at. I think on the day, we can take pretty much anyone when we're playing how we should play. We obviously have to watch out for their, like, Maiev comps, which was a little bit weird. And just make sure that we get what we want rather than, like, denying as much as possible.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to your matchup. I'm going to go ahead and let you go so you can enjoy your week. But before you go, shout-outs.
Shouts to Method, shouts to Twitch chat, even though you're memers. Shout out to you guys, obviously, and shout outs to my team.
Simple and easy from Ethereal. Thank you so much as Method gets a big victory today, a 3-0 over the Zealots. Shout out to Twitch chat, even though they're memers. Like, meming's a bad thing.
I thought that was like the whole job description of Twitch chat.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Get those memes ready.
Yeah, man. Spam emotes.
That being said, it seems like he wants to play heroes that have high mobility. I think he would not be. He would probably love to play Chen again.
You want to feel like you have that moment that you are deciding a team fight, right? I don't know if Chen gives you that moment, though. All he does is drink. He gets to enjoy the moment, but he doesn't make the moment, if that makes sense.
No, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Sense. Let's check out the schedule here for Method in the next coming weeks. Remember, we are getting closer and closer to the Western Clash, meaning we only have a couple of games left for our teams. And the two that matter for Method, Leftovers and Team Liquid.
Yeah, and Leftovers is 4th place right now. They have surpassed Fnatic in the standings, so that's definitely it. It's a match where Method is the favorite, but you can't take it lightly anymore. You have to actually respect the Leftovers.
That you do. Leftovers able to get a win on Fnatic yesterday. Looking over to the Zealots. Wow, that's a lot of L's. And they might get a couple more. Fnatic is the next matchup here for the Zealots. Quack's old team. And then, oh gosh, you got to finish the season here with Dignitas as your last team.
I'm more interested in the series against Fnatic.
Yeah.
Quack going up against his old team in the short call position, so there's definitely a bit of a rivalry. I mean, the guys are still friends, but still, it's like, it's one of these things. So with the state that Fnatic is in right now, that could become a very hyped game, depending on how that series goes. If you start to lose momentum on Fnatic's side, then anything can happen there. Well, just imagine how crazy that would be if Zealots with Fnatic and if Zealots with Quack Nix in the lead position would take their first victory in Phase 2 against Fnatic.
That would be a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Maybe even taking on Dignitas too. We do have Chris the Godslayer. He did it last season, so it's a possibility. Current exiting standings, as you see right there, Dignitas well in the lead. Leftovers with a -3, but because of them having a 2-2 on the score compared to the 1-3 of Fnatic, they are above them in slot for that 4th place. And they'll want to keep it too. They have to get their wins in the next couple of weeks. If Fnatic is able to earn a victory here and there, they should be able to slot on in. So things to consider as we move into Week 4 and Week 5. It is certainly getting spicy as we get towards the end of our season.
Yeah, definitely. End of part 1, because all of the continues and transfers over after the Western Clash was the standings for BlizzCon. But of course, next week we're continuing. The match that we just mentioned between Zealots and Fnatic is going to start us off on Friday, and we have the Monkey Menagerie against Granite Gaming. Another important one, since both of the teams are sitting at a 1-3, and this is already working towards making sure that you dodge the Crucible later on, or of course prepare to attack the top 4 if you can start that win streak for yourself.
Same thing for North America. Endemic and Heroes Hearth will start your day on Friday for North America, and then of course you'll end the day with Simplicity and LFM Esports as they'll be facing off. Pretty awesome stuff next Friday, so make sure you are here for the HGC. We'll be prepared. We'll be bringing the games as always, and make sure to let us know if you're enjoying the matches. Hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag HGC. Heroes Esports is where we're at. We love talking with you guys. If you want to talk to us individually, he's Caldor, I'm Trixler. That's it from us, guys. We will see you next week. That was the HGC. Up next, North America.
Also, the Haka, of course, is securing the bottom lane where the Siege Giant camper started to push in for Method. He still has the global ready, so he can go into the fight whenever. And he's already starting to burrow in, so they're going to look for the drag now. As he comes in, tries to get the drag onto Nick, and he gets it, but the cleanse is there. Here comes the silence.